lions and tigers and bears. Oh my! Up next on Indiana Outdoors. Welcome to Indiana Outdoors. I'm your host, Sarah Hood.
And I'm Drew Stafford. Today we're in Randolph County at Mees Zoo near Parker City.
Later on, we're going to talk to the folks here at Mees Zoo and see some of the other animals. But first, we're going to visit Rockville, which is usually known for its covered bridges.
But this story is about canoeing on Sugar Creek,
right through Turkey Run State Park.
one of the most beautiful places in the state.
I've probably canoed this stream probably at least 1,000 times over the span of my career here. My name is Monty Chaplin. I'm the manager of Turkey Run Canoe Trips. We'll be canoeing Sugar Creek today. It'll be a 4-mile trip. We go up above Turkey Run State Park and we put in the water to the eastern edge. We'll come down through Turkey Run State Park, come back here to the US 41 bridge along Sugar Creek. And that trip's, like I said, 4 miles. It'll take about 1.5 hours to 2 hours to complete. And along that trip, you'll see the rock formations inside Turkey Run State Park, of course, the suspension bridge inside Turkey Run State Park, and the 2 covered bridges that are located inside the park itself. My favorite spot on the 4-mile trip is where the trip begins, going down through the rock formations there at the eastern edge of Turkey Run State Park and looking at the under coves and everything along there. Natural scenic beauty is what draws the people here. I mean, everybody wants to come out and see the rock formations, the natural fauna, the wildlife, and that's what draws them. It's not necessarily the canoeing itself, but it's what they can see while they're canoeing or what they can do while they're canoeing. Some people will go through just to see what the underneath sides of them look like and then stop and go look through them. Because a lot of people from the Chicago and even some of the Indianapolis area have not even seen a covered bridge, and they're totally fascinated by them. I've been doing this for 30-some years, and I've moved on if it hadn't been for just, I like working with the public down here and seeing all the different people and the people that return every year. We have some people that come back, 5 and 6 times a year just simply to canoe the stream. Typically, the public along the stream will see, of course, the rock formations that are along the stream itself. Then occasionally they will see deer. Eagles have been sighted along this stretch of stream, of course, the blue herons, and of course, all the natural fish and royal fauna. And this stream is one of the few in the state of Indiana that is actually a natural scenic waterway. There's only 3 crossings along the entire stream that could be designated as being modern. On the 15-mile stretch from Shade State Park down to here, there's only 1 power line crossing in the entire stretch and 1 new modern bridge, besides the ones next to covered bridges. So it's, it's naturally beautiful, and that's just why we ended up here. A lot of the people come through here are, they are city people in a sense, and they want to come out and see the natural scenic that's here in Indiana. So, this is close to Indianapolis and Chicago, and they can get away for a little bit.
We're here at Mees Zoo near Parker City, and I am with Eileen Oren Taylor, the founder and owner of Mees Zoo, and she puts the E in the M-E of Mees Zoo. Now, Eileen, can you tell us about how this started?
Oh, we started about 21 years ago, but we didn't open till it'll soon be 20 years, and we opened for just special people, and that's how we got the S in the Mies Zoo. And how we started, we had a llama and a few deer and a goat and some peacocks. And then it just grew, and then we decided to open, and then we got the cats and our other big animals.
Now this is a family-owned zoo, and is there any difficulties in that, finding money to be able to fund it?
Yes, really we try to get through with admissions, donations, and adoptions, but that don't really get it. So my husband of today helps me out with that.
Now, your past husband that passed away a few years ago, he was also a founder. He was the M part, right?
Yeah, his name was Max, and he'll soon be gone. 14 years, December the 21st. And he's the one that really started the zoo.
Now, did he always have a passion for animals?
Yes, as a little boy, he always liked to do rabbits and snakes and guinea pigs and things like that.
So he moved on to bigger things.
Right, right.
Now, if some of our viewers would like to make a donation to your zoo, how could they do that?
They just donate the money or a check to Mies Zoo, and then they'll get it on a tax write-off.
And the adoption process for the animals?
We have a sheet that tells you how much it costs to feed the animals by the week, by the day, and by the month, and by the year. And you can do either way.
And are they able to visit the animals that they adopt, like outside of zoo hours, or is it strictly during the zoo hours?
It's strictly the zoo hours.
The zoo hours.
Because we're so busy right now and with changing animals around and everything, it has to be while the zoo is open.
All right, well, I want to thank you so much for letting us come here during your off season, and I wish you good luck with the zoo. And again, this is a beautiful zoo, and I really hope that you guys come out and see it, because to be this close to all of these animals is truly amazing.
I actually found someone here who actually takes care of the wild animals here at Mies Zoo. His name's Paul Cross. Now, Paul, who do you have with you here today?
Prince Charles. He's a young male Bengal tiger. He was born in captivity at a wildlife sanctuary outside of Oklahoma City.
All right.
He weighs about 40 pounds right now.
40 pounds right now, and obviously he is a kitten.
Yep.
In his playful age. Now, when it comes to tigers, and especially this playful one right here, how do you keep them calm when they're around everybody?
It just takes time getting them used to everything. Anything they do now, they're going to do when they get to be full grown. So you just kind of keep a little closer eye on them. You just let them be themselves and try to work around what they enjoy doing.
Okay. Now, when he gets to his full adult age, how big is he going to actually be?
He should weigh over 500 pounds. The size of the Bengal tigers vary anywhere from 3.5 to up to 500 for a big male. So with any luck, he'll weigh at least 5.
Well, I'll tell you what, when he gets to be about 500 pounds and the way he's acting now, I don't want to be around him. Now, when the patrons come here and everything, how can they get more information on this crazy guy and the rest of the animals here?
We've got all the information on him and the other animals at our website. It's mieszoo.com.
Alrighty. Thank you very much, Paul, and thank you, Prince, for being so playful. But Sarah, I think we have a few more stories that we're going to go right to.
Right now we're having fun feeding the American black bears. This one is named Banjo.
Came all the way from Tennessee to be here. But I think we should probably get back to the show, don't you think, Sarah?
Oh, right. Let me just finish real quick. Okay. Our next story takes us back in history, all the way back to 1812.
We visited a reenactment of the Battle of Mississinewa between the Miami Indians and the settlers.
Now, this event takes place annually in Wabash County to educate people about the battle that happened in the War of 1812.
My name is Martin Lake, and I'm president of the Mississinewa Battlefield Society. We formed recreation of the Battle of Mississinewa. This event is located 7 miles north of Marion, Indiana, on State Road 15. The crowd gets a glimpse of how warfare was different in the War of 1812.
I lived through the battle this time. Sometimes we go down, but when I got the extra 60 pounds of kit, I don't like going down too often.
During the battle here, there were no British. It was strictly Indians against the American Army. But we do have British here to show that role that was played by the British. Right, wheel, forward, right. We don't recreate the Battle of Mississinewa during the battle reenactment. In fact, we don't advertise it to the public at the reenactment as a battle itself. It's an educational demonstration of what warfare was like during the War of 1812. These soldiers are carrying muskets, and those muskets are basically a shotgun with a round ball. Well, when the round ball comes out of that musket, it's a knuckleball. You don't know where it's going. It's not going to go in a straight line because it's not a rifled barrel. So the only way to be effective against the other line is to march within 100 yards of them and fire, and hope that the whole volley of lead coming forward accidentally hits somebody. In the Battle of Mississinewa, only 8 Americans lost their lives. On the Indian side, the estimates are they might have lost 30, simply because you had no idea where the musket ball was going to hit it. We have a whole array of vendors which start with food purveyors that sell food common to the 1812 time period. We have sutlers that sell various trade goods that were available during the War of 1812. And then we have artisans, from weavers and spinners to woodworking people, silversmiths, the whole array of trades that were common during the War of 1812. Over the year, it's growing into what I would say is accepted without question to being one of the top 2 or 3 living history events in this country.
Joining us now is Omar the Camel and the host of his own webisode series, landscape architect Dean Hill.
I'm the one that doesn't quite slobber as much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
good. Now, Dean, you had a show on DIY Network, is that right?
It's a landscape improvement show called Grounds for Improvement.
And now you're working on a webisode. Now, what exactly is a webisode?
A webisode, very simply, is just a short video, usually about 3 to 7 minutes in length, but it's ideal for broadcasting on a website or even as download on a video podcast.
Now, how are you going to distribute this to the viewers and everything?
Well, they can always go to the website. It's greendentv.com, and they can view the webisodes there, and we're hoping that it shows up in other places, so keep your eyes out.
Fantastic.
Now, you did bring a little sneak peek for us, right?
In this particular webisode, we're talking about rainwater harvesting, or very simply, just collecting the water that falls on your roof and comes down right here like Omar's downspout.
Oh, so Omar can save water just like our viewers.
Anybody can save water, even camels.
Of course. Well, how about we just go ahead and take a look at that?
Hi, I'm Dean Hill, and welcome back to the Project House. Water conservation has become a very important issue lately. That's because the average American uses approximately 168 gallons of water per day. Your landscape usage can constitute between 50 and 60% of that. I'm going to show you how to install a rainwater harvesting system that's going to go a long way into saving you green on your watering bill. So stick around and learn how to be penny smart and water wise. Now I know what you might be asking yourself, Dean, what is a rainwater harvesting system and why do I want one? It is simply a system that collects and stores rainwater for non-potable use around your home. If you collected an inch of rainfall from a 1,000 square foot roof, that's 600 gallons of free water. And why wouldn't you want one? It's free water and it'll save you money on your water bill. And we're all about saving you green. To install this rainwater harvesting system, you'll probably need to grab a couple of tools that you have laying around the garage, like a ladder, shovel, measuring tape, hacksaw, a screwdriver, and a level. The things that you're probably going to have to go get are concrete blocks and leveling sand. Oh, don't forget all the parts that go with this system. Now all that's left is a little bit of sweat equity and you are well on your way. The first thing we need to do is prepare the base for the system. This unit sits on top of concrete blocks, so remove any sod or mulch to level the area. You can even use some leveling sand if you need it. Using the provided template, go ahead and set the concrete blocks. Once the base is set, check for level. Assemble the parts that come with the system before setting it on its base. Make sure that the assembly lines up with your gutter on the corner of the house. Measure to determine where to cut the downspout. Make sure you transfer your measurement from the top of the cinder blocks. Cut the downspout with a hacksaw and remove any clips or ties. Now simply place the system on the blocks, carefully inserting the downspout into the opening. Your installation is almost done. So what happens if your 90-gallon tank is full and it starts to rain again? All you have to do is take the excess guttering that you removed from the downspout, attach it right here with the screw, and it acts as an overflow, and it's also a place for your debris to come out. Now what we want to do on this side of the tank is attach the spigot to the top hole and just very simply plug this bottom hole. And what that's going to do is act as a sediment trap. All of the debris and sediment will collect down here and this spigot will never get clogged. Now if you're not crazy about the green color, all you have to do is take a can of plastic primer, apply one coat, and then follow up with your house color or your trim color and exterior latex and put it right on top of that primer coat. The sleek design of this system makes it easy to incorporate it into the existing landscape. Add a couple of native grasses, decorative stone, mulch, and with a little help from Mother Nature, you'll soon be collecting free water. That's how simple the systems are to install. And just think how much money we'd save if we collected all the rainwater that fell on the roof. And you know what? One thing that I've noticed, tomatoes taste a lot better when they're watered for free.
Now we're here in a pig pen at the Zoo with Vietnamese pot-bellied pigs. But right now I think we have another story to talk about, don't we, Sarah?
Yes, we do, Drew. Did you know that Greenfield is the hometown of the Hoosier poet James Whitcomb Riley?
For more than 40 years, Greenfield has been celebrating the birthday of their most famous citizen by throwing a big party.
Now, the Indiana Outdoors crew went to this annual event to give you a little taste of it when it goes on in October.
The Raleigh Festival started in 1970. They started with something like $300, and they started with a few individuals in town who wanted to enlarge the sidewalk days. And then it became Raleigh Days, and then now as it's known as Raleigh Festival. I'm spokesperson for the Raleigh Festival in Greenfield, Indiana. I've been working on the festival one way or another for about 32 years. James Whitcomb Riley was born in Greenfield, and the mission of our festival is to have a festival that really brings out Raleigh Festival to the world and to have a festival that truly honors him. We have one of the largest crafting shows in the state of Indiana. We're well known through the state with all the things that we do. We have a fine art show, a photography show. We have a poster show from all the children around town. We have a pumpkin decorating contest, the largest pumpkin contest. We have a home arts and quilt show, and associated with us is the Raleigh Run and Walk. And everyone in this town knows who James Whitcomb Riley is. The children learn his poetry. They come through the Riley home, and there's a special place upstairs where you can find out about. It's a scary little place.
I think Greenfield kids know more about Riley than kids from other towns because we grew up with Riley. I mean, his house, names, that kind of stuff.
Well, we have over 100-unit parade on Saturday. It's known as the Mariana Raleigh Festival Parade. This year it was quite a nice parade. There were lots of Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts and 2 calliopes, the rock band, different high school bands, and a lot of politicians in the political year. A lot of people who want to advertise their companies, and a lot of people who just want to be in a parade for the good old-fashioned way of it.
The James Whitcomb Riley Festival here in Greenfield is something special. It's been going on for a number of years. It looks at the best of our community. My name is John Burroughs, and at times, I'm James Whitcomb Riley. I think it hits several different levels. For one thing, it represents childhood. His poetry is like a lens that we can look back and see both the innocence and the fantasy of being a child. Second of all, his poetry stands out for the Midwest. It was something he believed in. He represents the pioneers who settled in this area and grew up. Third, he represented the rural person, the farmer. And nobody up to that time had stood for the farmers, showed that they were a part of America, and united them with the city people. That made him important. And last but not least, I think he was something of a patriotic poet. He was friends with the president, and he wrote poems about the Civil War. When we went to war with the Spanish at the turn of the century, he wrote about the young heroes there. So on all these different levels, he represented America at its best.
Our last story today takes us to another exhibit, the Oceans Biome exhibit in Indianapolis.
Now the Indy Zoo is big and has a lot of exhibits, so we'll be bringing them to you one at a time. Watch this.
I'm a senior aquarist at the Indianapolis Zoo, and we're here in the Oceans Biome. Oceans Biome, we focus on animals that live in the ocean, obviously. We've chosen to pick different species throughout the world and try to focus on them to bring attention to them in an aquatic setting. Our mission is to entertain, is to educate, and to promote conservation. We want you to have a good time while you're here. We want you to learn while you're here, and we want you to take away some feelings that I understand more of what's going on throughout the world. The type of exhibits that we have here are bonnethead sharks, moray eels, moon jellies, smooth dog sharks, which is our touch tank. We have a series of seahorse exhibits and smaller focus tanks, as well as our penguin exhibit. Our primary focus is on our touch tank. We have the US's largest touch tank. So we want to really focus on education through conservation. Our exhibit educates people in numerous ways, obviously by them being able to touch the sharks. Our graphics along the walls, as you can see. And then we also have instructors that roam throughout that people can ask questions to. As you can see, our shark touch tank is the most popular place in the zoo right now. We've had almost 100,000 people at the zoo so far this year. And by far, the children love it. The adults love it. They love being able to actually touch a real shark, and in a controlled setting, in a very safe way. We have to stress that definitely. But just by educating them that the sharks do have a purpose, really will hopefully help us achieve our mission, which is conservation, as well as showing them that they're very cool animals. Basically, here in Indiana, we have a connection to pretty much every other part of the world. And what we directly do here affects other places. It affects these animals that we have in this building, and it affects animals that we will continue to bring into our building. So we want to have as much responsibility for what we do here so that we can help the things that are far away.
Well, that's it for this episode. We better get inside and warm up.
No way. There's tons more animals to see. Come on.
Thanks to the people at Zoo for hosting us.
Yeah, see you next time.